Can you tell me, which are your memories from your visits in Greece, either for shows or for interviews? Do you remember this incident in your first show with "Give me your pen" instead of "Give me your pick"?
You know what I actually remember the most from Greece was incredible food. And I know that sounds terrible, but the fans from Greece, I see them at a lot of places we go. So it's not like I only see them in Athens. We see them a lot of places, and it's always a treat for me to see Grecian fans when we go into other countries. Just like when we see the Argentina fans, it's always neat to see that. But playing in Athens is always remarkable too, because there's a mystic energy that I believe in around that whole city there, with all of the history from, the Acropolis and all of the mythology and everything. For me, I was very much interested in all that stuff. So whenever we go there and we play, it always feels extra special to me.
Mhm. To tell you the truth, organizing shows for many years, you are not the first who states that the food is so special in Greece. Every band that comes to Greece says the best words about the food, and you shouldn't apologize for that.
Okay, thank you for that.
um, you had stated that you will release three more albums as Megadeth. How do you see that coming? Have you written any material?
Uh, in my head,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Um, when did I say this?
Um, Almost a year ago.
Have I written anything in a year? Probably. I'm just not. Nothing's coming to mind right now. When it's time for me to write stuff, I usually write it and put it down. We've been doing a lot of deciphering right now. We've been going over the back catalog and learning all the songs really, really, really well, note for note, for James and for Timu. Dirk's performance has always been stellar. Um, he sounds just like uh, Gar Samuelson, so that's always neat to listen to Gar come to life when Dirk plays the drums. So yeah, I think we could realistically be writing music for a new album by the end of this year.
Mhm. Um, Whoever plays next to you in Megadeth definitely has the potential to be one of the next guitar heroes of our time. Do you think that Timu has this charisma too?
Yes, yes,
Um, do you see him contributing to the songwriting of your next album?
yes, I do. I think he's going to be a great addition to Megadeth. He already has. We're playing more songs now than we were playing before, and that has nothing negative to say about any of the previous lineups. It just says that he knew more about the band and understands the metal backbone of so many of these songs more than some of the other people would um, understand it.
You mean he must have been a bigger fan, let's say, of Megadeth before joining the band?
Well, when you're a metal guy, I think you understand metal compositions more than somebody who, say, for example, knows progressive rock like Chris Broderick does, or somebody who knows bossa nova, which Kiko does, or somebody that plays jazzy like Glenn Drover would play,
Mhm.
maybe Al Petrelli. these guys all have their strengths. And thank you for your comment about whoever stands next to me goes on to greatness. I believe that, and I've often thought that, although I've never said it. I do believe that when somebody gets singled out by me, that's pretty much it for them. They've been indoctrinated into the world of great guitar players, and from that moment on, their life will change.
Yeah, well, I think you should be deaf and blind if you didn't see that all the musicians that you have picked all over your career are great musicians, and most of the times they were given a chance to shine.
Right.
Did you have any signs that Kiko would leave Megadeth permanently, or did it come as a surprise to you?
Well, it wasn't really a surprise because it started to become clear that his family was going to need him. And I'm a dad too, so I saw it. And I knew that his wife and the babies all needed their daddy. And Kiko is a good husband, he's a good dad, and he needed to do what was right for him and for his family. And I applaud him for doing what he did. A lot of people would not have the guts to walk away from being a rock and roll star to take care of their kids. They would somehow sacrifice something, and it probably would not be the family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a brave thing to do. That was a
Yeah,
brave thing from him. Yeah.
it was a big thing to do.
Uh, Not only as a player, but also as a writer, you seem to be in an excellent shape as time passes by, and you release excellent records that, in my opinion, would match your career highlights, especially your last two albums. What is the thing that motivates you even now to write music with such inspiration?
What motivates me, I think it's just knowing that I've still got some creative energy left, that I want to make a couple more records before I stop, and to make sure that those records are good records.
Mhm. Um, in your last album, you covered the Sammy Hagar song since Montrose was your favorite band, a favorite band of you. Did you ever consider to record an album of cover songs that inspired you, just like, for example, Saxon did with albums called Inspiration? And if you would do such an album, do you have in your mind any cover songs that you will that you would include?
Um, you know what? I haven't given that any thought, but of course I would. If I was going to do an album of cover songs, of course I would have a list of song titles, and I would have ideas of songs to do. It's funny. I train with my son every day, and we listen to music from the past and stuff that's current. And we were just talking about um, uh, Timu noticing the structure of songs by going through the whole catalog. What that would look like, and how the songs back in the beginning of Megadeth's career were written differently. It's still the same music, same writers, predominantly. So when it's time for us to learn these songs, I think it's real easy to start learning how to write them as well.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Um, um, you played a show with Marty Friedman. How did it feel that you were back together on stage? And did you discuss the possibility of him joining Megadeth in an extent, let's say?
Marty didn't rejoin me. We played together for a couple of tracks, which was fun, and it was a very natural feeling. Um, but you know, I know that Marty, when we got together in Japan and we talked, Marty's changed a lot. He's a different man, and it'd be really fun to play with him every once in a while, see what's going on. But the problem is a lot of fans will misunderstand us doing something with Marty and think that there's some hope of Marty joining Megadeth again, and there's not. There wouldn't be, because Marty is doing his own thing in Japan, and I am 100% satisfied with Timo right now, and I've already told the world that he's our new guitar player.
Mm-hmm. That's why I ask you in some extent. You know, it wouldn't be permanent because it would be unfair for Timo. What can you tell me? What annoys you most in music industry nowadays? I
What
guess that.
annoys me?
Excuse me.
What annoys me the
Yeah,
most?
what annoys you because you have your own record label, so I assume that uh, you have your own record label in order to be to have the best to take the best have the best out of your music.
Well, I guess the thing that annoys me the most in the music business is people who don't know what they're doing, and I think that's pretty normal. Um, Whenever you come across people that don't know what they're doing, it's hard to be around them. It's hard because they want to come across like they know stuff, and a lot of times there are people that can help, but more often than not, um, they don't help.
Mhm. How do you see the I could say in quotation marks invasion of AI in music?
Uh-huh. How do I see it?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's just like anything. If it's used for good, then it'll be harmless. If it's used for bad, then it's probably going to be very bad. I don't think there's anything in AI that's not done in moderation that's going to be good for us.
Would you experiment with AI in any of your forthcoming albums?
Hmm. I would have to check it out and see for myself, because I'm not exactly sure. I heard somebody had done a song, a Megadeth AI song, and I heard a little bit of it, and I thought, well, that doesn't sound like me, um, because the words were not, um, they were not mine. They were words similar to what I would say, but it wasn't really a good track.
Hmm. Um, so if you when you were young, starting Megadeth, that's a question I always discuss with my peers around 50s or so. When you were young and starting Megadeth, would you see the chance of being 60 years old playing thrash metal as you do now? Because back in the 80s, when we were watching people that were in their mid 30s, we were considering them as old people. We couldn't imagine. We were watching Black Sabbath in the 80s, late 80s, and we were saying that they will end their career any day now. How do you see that?
Um, that they would end their career any day now? I'm not sure I understood that. Can you say that one more time?
Before, when we were in the 80s, we were in our 20s, 25, 30, 25 years old, let's say, we were watching bands that were consisting of people that were around 35 or 40 years old, and we thought that the end of their career was near because they were 40 years old and they were old people.
Yes.
How do you see now that you are in 60 years old, and you're still playing thrash metal like in your 20s?
You know, I don't know. It's remarkable that I could still play. I'm glad that I'm still playing. I don't want to play if the fans think I shouldn't be playing. If we started doing music and the music wasn't heavy and it wasn't thrash, I would probably not want to do it anymore. And you know, thrash metal music is one of those things that makes you feel alive inside. I can't remember anything that I've ever experienced that makes me feel as good as thrash metal music. Not a drug, not a drink, not a person, not a thing. It was just the music and the energy that comes out. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question or not.
Yeah. Dave, thank you very much for your
You're
time.
welcome. Oh, you're so welcome.